Hello and welcome, my name is Hayley and this is Divinity Tarot. So we're going to do another pick a pile style reading today, messages from your deceased pet who has crossed over into the light. So this could be a pet from your past, one from your childhood, any time throughout your past, or one who has crossed over recently. So these are specific messages for you from the other side. And we have the Rose Quartz Tower, the Jasper Tower, and the Amethyst Tower in pile 3. So before we get started on the reading, I want to talk about soul contracts. So every one of us, we create our life's blueprint as our higher self before we are incarnated into this life. And as part of that blueprint, we agree to meet certain people along the way, have certain animals in our lives. They agree to be part of our lives, to mutually teach each other lessons. So, this involves the bad stuff as well as the good stuff. Yes, your higher self chose to meet those narcissists, chose to go through that abuse. Your pet chose to die the way that they did. No matter how hard it was. It's all part of the soul's contract. Some animals choose to incarnate as meat animals to have that experience for soul growth. Some animals choose to be in horrific conditions. Yes, they actually choose that as their higher self for the greater good, for soul ascension. Same with humans. Humans, some can be human trafficked or terribly abused or part of a war or whatever it was their soul chose to incarnate into so that their soul could go through those lessons and have that growth. So as part of our soul contracts, yes, our pet chose to come into our life. They were meant to be. Now, that means that they were here to teach us specific lessons. And the noise you can hear in the background, that's our new cat, Sasha. I've let her in today for the first time into the reading space. Wolfie used to always join me for readings, but she passed away 5 weeks ago of cancer and surgery complications. So she's no doubt here with us as well. You may even hear her in the background. So when I think of Wolfie, I think what was her reason for being here? What was she here to teach me? And, I've thought about it long and hard, and when I first got her, I was completely different, completely different. She's changed me so much. Like, we both mellowed so much over the years that I had her. And about a month before I got her, I'd bought this old, big yellow 1978 Toyota Hi-Ace pop-top camper. And I needed a big dog because I was going to be camping on my own. And I needed one for protection and for companionship. And, I was going to go hiking everywhere and all this sort of thing, and go on these wonderful adventures. Well, we went camping a lot in the first year and a bit, but she made it pretty clear after that she didn't want to do that anymore. And I tried to take her hiking places and go to these wonderful places, go to the beach and all that sort of thing. And I'm quite adventurous and I wanted to do all that stuff, and she just wasn't interested in it at all. And she was quite neurotic in the fact that she just wanted to stick to her regular walks, and she was really happy just doing that. We experienced the COVID years together, and during COVID, I refused to get my vaccinations and I lost my job and disability. And I went months and months without a job, months and months without an income. And I thought that was a bad thing, but in hindsight, I am so grateful that I got to spend nearly a year at home with Wolfie, just being, just sitting, just being present with her, being in the moment, just enjoying her. And, you know, one of her favourite things to do would go for a walk, and on the way home she'd stop at this little park across the road from our house and sit down under a tree. And, you know, I would sit there for a while, but then being a human, and I've always got a million things running through my mind, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and, you know, I've got to endlessly scroll on my phone and do all this nonsense stuff. And I would stand up and go home, and she'd get angry at me and jump up on me and try to push me back down. She just wanted me to be present, be in the moment. You know, because of her, I've recently got back into Reiki. I'm actually a master level Reiki practitioner, and I'm actually in the process of transferring my skills to be a master level animal Reiki practitioner. I'm getting the certificate at the moment. And, you know, it's reminded me of how important it is to just be in the here and the now, to just be present, to just be still, to just be one with the universe and source. And that's all she was just trying to teach me. She was just trying to teach me that none of that other stuff is important. You know, all those photos for Facebook and Instagram are not important. Those, you know, those trips, those bucket list things that you want to tick off, they're not important. What's important is just slowing down and being present, being in the moment. And that's something I'll always remember. She was like the best spiritual teacher I've ever had. The other thing she taught me was unconditional love. I had never experienced soul level love like I had experienced with her. And now I truly know what it is, and I can use that in my spiritual teachings and in my spiritual practice like Reiki. I really know what it is now, what love is, what I'm giving and what I'm receiving. So I am so eternally grateful for her for that. So I want you to think about your pet and what lessons they taught you. So we'll get into the reading now. So rose quartz, jasper and amethyst. We'll start with jasper. And we have doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. Yeah. Some people can be really skeptical, and you may be one of them. You know, you may not have experienced this kind of thing before, you know, spirituality and all that sort of thing. Maybe you've led a more left brain lifestyle, you're more logical, you're more mathematical, you know. Things have to have a solid reason behind it. You have to see the mechanisms. And, you know, your pet is telling you to just have faith, to just trust. Trust in what you saw. If you saw that little glimpse of their tail going around the corner, don't doubt it. It was really them. If you felt your cat jump on the end of your bed when you were going to sleep, that was really them. That was not your imagination. If you found that toy out on the lounge room floor, you're not going mad. It was them. You know? Stop doubting. Just have faith. Believe. I have not always been the best at expressing my feelings, but I hope you know I love you so, so, so much. Yeah. They know that you love them. They can hear your thoughts. They can hear your words that you speak of them, to them. You know, you may be in the car driving to work and you still talk to them. They can hear that and they love that. And they know what's in your heart, but also they want to remind you of how much they love you. How much they love you. Just remember that feeling. Remember that look in their eyes, the way that they used to adore you. 1414, possibilities. Building strong foundations creates stability and welcomes in possibilities. All possibilities exist and are amplified when gratitude is felt for the foundations that are in place. And this goes back to that first card of stop being in doubt. This really is possible. There are lots of books out there. There are lots of accounts of people who have experienced this. Go online, look for yourself, do the research. You are not going mad. This is not airy-fairy stuff. We all exist as energy, and energy does not die. Science backs that up. You know, if you want the mechanical, logical side of it, science backs it up. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be changed. Its form can only change. So when we die, we don't die. You know, our pets don't die because that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be changed. They've just changed form from being in a body to being in an ethereal state. New companion. Some of you may have been hesitant to get a new pet. You know, you may feel that it would be disrespectful to them. Others have told you, don't do it yet, you won't be ready, you'll regret it. You'll know when the time is right, and your pet is telling you that they give you full permission, that it will not make them jealous. You know, Wolfie was an extremely jealous girl. She was Mummy's girl, and no one else was allowed to be Mummy's girl. This is why I only had the one dog. And actually my son, his girlfriend, needed a place for her dog to stay for a while. Her name was Black Betty, and she was a black Samoyed, and they were both around the same age. They were both female, and I thought, well, you know, they're both Arctic dogs, they're both about the same size, they're both females, both about the same age. It should be okay, you know, she can stay here for a few days or whatever. It was fine until I gave Black Betty some attention. And then all hell broke loose. There was teeth, there was fur flying. It was nasty, and I had to call them and get them to take Black Betty away. Yeah, she was extremely jealous, but I will get another dog one day, because I know that when we cross over into the light, we don't harbour any of that anymore. You know, jealousy is a lower vibration. Our being does not experience lower vibrations when we are released from the body. It's the body that anchors us down into those lower vibrations. It's denser, it's heavier. But when we are free from our body, we are in the higher vibrations really naturally. So no, Wolfie won't be experiencing jealousy towards me anymore. And she will want me to be happy. And we have the Lovers. Yeah, this is reminding you that this was a soul connection, you know, that if you have wondered whether this was your soul pet, then this is confirmation of that. They are telling you that yes, that you have been together in many lifetimes before, and you will be together again. That you are soul bound together. So we're going to go with the Amethyst Tower. We have honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. Again, that's another Reiki precept. Just for today, I will be honest in what I do. And that honesty is not just towards other people, but it's really towards yourself. Are you really being honest with yourself? You know, so you may be beating yourself up for something, and your pet doesn't want you to go through that anymore. Are you really being honest with yourself, or are you just trying to find a way to stop yourself from feeling the real feelings? You know, honesty can be feeling those real feelings. Sometimes when we go into guilt and blame, it's because we don't want to feel the other feelings that we need to feel to process, to assimilate the grief. We need to be honest with ourselves, and being honest is being open and allowing those feelings to come through, not blocking it by, you know, getting angry at ourselves and, trying to blame ourselves for things. Moving past that and allowing the other feelings to come through. Allowing that love, that hurt to come through. Because yes, you're going to feel that. The other side of love is grief. We experience grief because we loved. You need to allow it. When tomorrow starts without me, don't think we're far apart. For every time you think of me, I am right there in your heart. Yeah. Don't think of them as gone. And I know it can be hard because their physical body's not here. But they're not gone, they're just changed. Remember that scientific thing that I talked of before? Science says that energy can never be destroyed or created. It can only ever be changed. It can only change form. Your animal, your pet bird, your pig, your cow, your goat, your cat, your dog, your horse, they're not gone, they've just changed. And we need to learn to adapt to that change. We both do. 1616, willpower. Things may feel out of sync and not within your control. The whisper of the divine is asking that you remember that you are being supported and that your will is your superpower. Determination is key right now. You do have support. You have support from your animals, from your spirit guides, from the divine. Ask. Ask your pet to show you signs. And, if you really still feel like you are out of control, like you're losing the battle, please go and seek help. There are a lot of support systems out there for grieving. Don't feel like you ever have to do this on your own. And we have the 7 of Cups. So this could be talking about dream visitations. You may experience your pet come to you in a dream, or you could have already. Know that this really is them visiting you. Again, this is not illusory, this is real. The difference between a visitation in a dream and maybe another kind of dream. So if the dream feels really good and positive and you really feel like they were here with you, then that was a visitation. If it was a nightmare and it made you feel really uncomfortable, and this is Sasha, by the way, this is her first time in the reading space. So welcome, Sasha. You've got bits of straw and spider webs all over you from the first time being in the garage. So yeah, if it feels bad, then it's a nightmare, and that's a normal part of grief. We do experience nightmares, bad dreams. It's our psyche trying to make sense of all of our feelings. And we have signs. Just know that they will send you signs, and they'll keep sending you signs, to just keep a lookout for those signs that are incoming. And the signs are different for everyone, but just stay open-minded. Excuse me, Sasha. So we're going to go with the rose quartz crystal. And we have envy. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. Yeah, like I was saying before, energy cannot be destroyed, it only changes form. Different challenges. This is a different challenge. You've been with challenges before with your pet. Maybe you had to change your hours at work and you didn't know how you were going to get through that. Or you went through a hard time financially and you didn't know how you were going to feed or house your pet, but you got through it somehow. This is just another challenge. This is just another thing that you have to find a way around. It's just a new way of being. From my heavenly vantage point, I can see and understand things so much more clearly now. I can see now that you and I never had anything to be afraid of. Yeah, they can see everything now and they can understand everything now. If you were sitting there like, they wouldn't understand why I had to work so many hours. They wouldn't understand why I couldn't afford to get them the good treats all the time. They wouldn't understand why I couldn't take them to the dog park, but it was because, you know, those other dogs would attack her or whatever. You know, whatever it was, just know that now they do know. They've been through their life review after they passed. They've been shown all those moments and they've been given understanding that they couldn't possibly know before. It's okay, Sasha. And yeah, they are aware now. They do know what money is. They do know that we need to work. And yeah, they understand it all now, that you had to do those things. So stop beating yourself up. 555, change. Change happens outside your comfort zone. The time for change is now. The angels are whispering for you to trust the path and to learn how to walk in it. Take the next step. Allow change to lift you up and guide you forward. Yeah. Again, you know, this reading keeps coming back to that. This is just change. Change is really uncomfortable. Change hurts, you know. This is why the Tower card in Tarot is such a big deal, because it comes with that massive change and we have to start all over again. But change is also a new opportunity. Take the opportunity for growth. You know, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, you know, give this some kind of meaning by dedicating my life to animals now. So talk to me. Yeah. Keep talking to them. Talk to them in the car on the way to work. Talk to them when you get up in the morning. Every morning I get up and I say, "Good morning, Wolfie," or when the alarm goes off I say, "Time to get up, Wolfie," because that's what I always used to say to her. Still say that. Say the things that you used to say. "Hey, are you eating my owl feathers?" I found these owl feathers on a walk once and I've kept them. Death. Yeah. Again, we have change. This whole reading seems to be reminding us that this is not the end, this is just change. And that's what the Death card in Tarot means. The Death card in Tarot does not mean death, it means change. So we need to keep that in mind. Yes, the physical body died. The physical body died and we are mourning that. We are grieving that. This is just different. And yeah, Sasha, I don't know if you can see that, but she was looking around, she could see Wolfie. She always looks around when she can see Wolfie. So Wolfie is with us right now. Hello, darling. And yeah, I better leave this reading here before Sasha destroys everything. So enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.